Yo, what's good guys? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm back with 4 quick tips on how to make the best default template for FL Studio. Now the secret here is the best is subjective. What do I mean by that? I mean that every template that you see online, people might say it's the best one, but the best one is the one that works for you. So today I'm just going to be going through some tips on how to make your own template, how to make it work better for you. I'm going to kind of go through the workflow of how I make templates and kind of show you the basics so you can kind of take these steps, take it to the next level, and then basically make your own template. But if you do like my template, it's available in my Discord server. You can check it out in the description below. But yeah, we're basically gonna break this down into 4 steps and they'll be time marked in the video. So yeah, feel free to skip around if you want, but I suggest following this in order. All right, so step 1 is let's work with the channel rack. So the channel rack is where you add all your sounds and stuff in. So I'll show you what I like to do. So in a default template, this is what it'll look like. So the first thing you kind of want to do is you want to take this sampler channel and just clone it. So just right click, clone, or right click, hit C, right click, right click. We're gonna say these are our melody tracks. So we can go in and just start renaming these. So melody 1. Okay, just like that, we have our melody channels now set up. So when we open up our template, we'll already have these melodies kind of there. All right, so we have the melodies set up, but now this time we kind of want to lay out the drums. So let's go ahead and clone this and let's rename this to hi-hats, for example. Okay, so this is very basic, but essentially this is what you should have. You kind of have your melodies at the top, and then you can have your drums at the bottom, or you can flip it around however way you like. Oh, before I get too far, let me quickly mention, if you go to your options here, audio settings, and make sure you change the metronome track and the preview track to something that you also want. This is a really good tip to have. All right, so I have my metronomes track set to 1, so I don't want to touch that. So let's start with 2. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to select all these and basically send them to the mixer. So what we want to do is we want to select all these, click on insert 2 and Control Shift and L. So now we have all these kind of routed based on these tracks here. Okay. Sweet. All right, step 2, now we're going to look into the effect track. So let's do that. So now what you can do is you can start messing around with the mixer track. So the first thing you kind of want to do is just scroll to the end or somewhere near the end, just randomly right click on one of these and click to dock to the right and do that 3 times. Now we can go ahead and rename this melody, rename this drums, rename this effects, and rename this mic. So now these are our sends. So what we can do is we can take all our melody channels here. So you can hold Control and Shift and select them all. Right click down here on the melody and route to this track only. Now what we're doing is we're taking all our melodies and sending them to this channel on the right. And we want to do the same with the drums. Select them all, right click the drums, route to this track only. Okay, now let's go into where the drums start, so the hi-hats, and let's add a separator. So now we can physically see that these are broken up here. So we have our melody, let's add a separator there. And we have our drums, and these drums are all sent to the drums over here, and the melodies are all sent to this melody send over here. Perfect. And then if you want, you can also go in, add some effects. So we can just rename this effects 1, rename this to effects 2, and you get the idea. I'll add a separator here. I'll add another one called producer tag, because that's something I'm going to need in every beat. So that'll have its own channel. I'll add another separator here, just so I can see that divide. And perfect, I like that. We'll take the effects and route them to the effects track only. And then what we can also do is we can take our melody, drums, effects, and all that, and we can also add a pre-master if we want to. I'm not going to do it in this video, but essentially what you would do is instead of routing these to your master, you would route it to another channel, and that would be your pre-master. So it would go into your pre-master, and then from your pre-master into your master. Okay, so we've got our send set up. Now what do we want to do? Now we want to actually go in and add the effects that we're going to be using every single time we make beats. So for example, I'm going to go into the melody send over here and add in a parametric EQ. All right, and then I know that in every melody that I make, I like to take all the low end out. So I'm gonna add the 3 bands here, and I'm just gonna do this. Now what this is gonna do is every time I open an FL Studio project, it's gonna default with all the melodies being sent to this one send, and this filter is going to be enabled. So I don't have to do that every single time I make a beat. It'll be done automatically. We can do the same with other things as well. That was just the simplest example I could give you, but if you wanted to, you could go into your 808, add a limiter. You go into your kick, add a sidechain to limit it when the 808 plays, or vice versa. And if you want, you can do stuff like this. Is what I normally do is I'll take a melody send like this, and I will rename it sub bass. Now the sub bass, I don't want it routed to the melody send because I want the low end in it. So I'll just route it to the master, for example. So that way when I'm making a beat, I can just quickly add the melody or the sub bass and send it to that channel, and it'll bypass that filter. Easy. Okay, so you're looking at this and you're going, wow, this is really ugly. I don't understand what's going on here. Well, now comes the best part, is color coding. What I usually do is I'll honestly just take my melodies, make them one color, take my drums, make them one color, effects one color, producer tag one color. And then I'll take these sends and make them the same color as over here, maybe a shade darker. So let's go ahead and enter our melodies, select them all, right click, change color, and let's just do a burnt orange or saddle brown. I'm gonna remember this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy it to the melody send over here. So now I'm gonna go into the melody send, change the color, and I'm gonna do the same kind of saddle brown as over there, and then make it a little bit different. So as you can tell, it's a different color, but I know that all the brown colors mean that it's the melody send. And then I'm gonna do the same for the drums. So now visually I'm looking at this and going, okay, that makes sense. I know all the melodies sent to this melody, all the drums sent to this. So then the same thing for up here in our channel rack. We wanna go into the melodies. Let's select all the melodies. Let's group them together first. So group selected, all. And then let's pick a color of that brown that we picked. Saddle brown, except it's like gray, I believe. There we go. And then let's also go in and make sure we group them. So color them and group them. So group selected. And let's name this melody. And let's name these drums. So now you already see what the benefit is. At the top here where you can actually filter your channels, you can go in and select just drums, or you can go in and select melody, and you can separate them like that. So that's a secret that I use for making some beats. I just like to filter all my melodies like that, and then it separates them from the drums, so I can make everything in one giant pattern and then just separate them like that. All right, and another thing that you can actually do is, let's go up to like pattern, I don't know, 107. You can go in here and you can lay these patterns out however you want. So patterns 107, 108, lay them out like this, 109, like this. I'm just gonna do that. And I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but what I'm gonna do now is, because I have these patterns here, I can go in and actually just rename them and color them. So I can call this intro. I can change the color to, we can do verse, hook. Now, when I'm making a beat, that's perfect. I know, okay, this will be my intro, this will be my verse, this will be my hook. And it's just kind of a quick way to arrange your beats. So every time you open up your FL Studio, it'll be there. Okay, so that was supposed to be step 3 for the arranging and the color coding. So let's go into the final step, step 4. So now what we want to do is let's go to options up here. Let's go to project general settings. We can keep this default and then go to info. So now in the title, let's leave that blank, but in the author, let's put our producer tag. So now I save that the author. In the comments, I can do subscribe to englandpj. And then if I want to show this info when opening, so every time I open my default template, it'll show, but I don't care. So let's close that. Let's leave that as that is. So that was the last thing we want to do. So I'll show you how to save this now. Save it to wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I have this file here now. So I want to copy it and go to this folder location. So in this folder here, documents, image line, FL Studio, projects, templates, paste it in. Okay, now we see it down there. So let's open up FL Studio again. So now in FL Studio, let's go to file. Let's go to new from template, and there's a shortcut down here, change default template. And you should have already sent your file name there. And then go in here and then just select the template that you want. So now every time you open up FL Studio with a new project, it'll load up your default template. Let me show you my default template really quick so you get an idea for how you can kind of take yours to the next level. So I took Zicky Beats template and kind of modified it so it works a little bit better for me. So I'll run through mine real quick. So I have my preview or metronome on this channel here. I have my pre-master, so everything gets sent to this first. My producer tag. These are my melody sends. These are my drum sends. As you can tell, I have more drum sends, and this is just because this is the way it works for me and I prefer it. I have some effects sends here, and then I have my sidechain, so my melodies, where I have some more effects, my drums, my effects, and then a mic input, which I have my microphone settings saved to. And then other than that, I just have default kind of mastering presets there. Nothing on my effects for my melodies or stuff. If you guys want to see how he made this template, go check out his video. But this is my template. I'll upload this one on my Discord server as well with this video so you guys can access it. And I'll also link to his Discord server so you guys can check him out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I tried to break it down as much as I could without over explaining stuff. If you liked the video, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned. I will be posting more videos. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm PJ. I'm out. Peace.
PJ on the track.